we have to do several shots because I'm not sure how much time I can actually upload at one time. But anyway, this would be the G that you're used to seeing here, and this would be their low G. Or perhaps if I were writing a really high soprano part, or a really high flute part, I might want to make it easier for myself by making this G. When it comes to flute, maybe some of you are familiar with the flute. They do have G, F, E, D, and C, but those notes are worthless. You should never write those because they can't be heard. So really, second line G is about the lowest note in terms of band-wise. Now in solo work, sure, you can write all those notes, but as far as band is concerned, you can't hear anything over the trombones. So we could just start this being G, and then we wouldn't have to, if it was a really high part, we wouldn't have as many ledger lines. In other words, they used the treble clef as a movable clef to avoid ledger lines.
You still do this today?
No, we don't do that anymore.
Why not?
Because we're not smart enough to do that. But they had nothing else to do in the 1600s. They didn't have computers or anything like that, so they just sat around reading music. So that's why they were so good at it.
Either read music or blame the plague or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's the treble clef. Now, I know that you were taught this in grade school, but sometimes when you play the tuba or the trombone, you let your treble clef skills slip away. So let's just be sure we all know what is real in the treble clef. And that is, the bottom line is E, the next line is G, the next line is B, the next line is D, and the next line is F. And every now and then we make up a little saying to help us remember that. The one that the grade school teachers use so much is, of course, every good boy deserves fudge, which seems a little sexist. It seems like girls could have fudge too. So every good
Body.
body. All right. Well, there are other ways to go, like even George Bush drives fast. Elvis's guitar broke down Friday. You can do anything you want in any direction that you want, as long as you can remember what the treble clef notes are. Does everybody know the treble clef notes? You read treble. You read treble. You read treble.
Like,
Not read.
just in a normal piece of music, or do I know how to read it?
Do you know how to read it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Very good. And you started out alto clef.
I don't know. It looked weird from like all the other music that I'd done, and then the music teacher that I had at the time tried to tell me that I was wrong when I told her that I was working on a different clef, and she was like, "No, that's impossible."
Is that Mrs. Huffnagel?
I did not get along with her, if that's imaginable.
No.
She is horrible. She was. You know.
I know.
You know how awful she was.
She valued her music packets
Too much.
too much.
I stole one.